Hello and welcome to the Rolling With series. I'm Will and with me is the salty sea dog herself,
Sarah.
And today we're looking at Dominion Seaside. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right, Seaside is a big expansion with a higher focus on player interaction, and it introduced durations, coin tokens, embargo tokens, and player mats. So the big thing for this expansion was the durations.
Yes. So durations are an interesting concept where you play it, get an effect, then they stay out, and at the start of your next turn, they'll do something.
Right, and then at that point, at the end of that second turn, it goes away with cleanup.
Right.
Yep. This was just a fabulous concept because, you know, up to that point, you're drawing cards and it's always your new hand that you have to work with. But now you could have an effect that, well, happens at the beginning of your turn that could open up new avenues for what you do that turn because it's already in play. And up to this point, there wasn't anything that would start in play.
Yeah, this game also is what I'd consider map heavy or mat heavy.
Mat, yes.
Because it has a number of different mats. There's a mat for your pirate ship. There's a mat for
it was the village,
yes,
native village.
Native village.
And the island, I think.
Yes. And so it expands into different areas in front of you to keep track of different things. The pirate ship attacks people and is like the only trashing ability that attacks other people. But it like accrues money on there, or you can use it to just modify the card. You don't lose any of the money, but the card changes as you accumulate this wealth. The native village allows you to accrue cards. You play it, you can put more cards on there, and or take all the cards back.
No, not that one.
Not that one?
Wait.
Native village.
Oh, yes, native village, yes. The island. Wow, I'm getting them confused. The island is the one that lets you take it and another card out of the game permanently until the end of the game. And that's usually how you would remove victory point cards that are clogging up. But you're right, native
Without
village,
losing victory points.
Right. But native village, yeah, you would take a card from the top of your deck. You don't get to know what it is, but you can look at it any time. And then at whatever point, when you play the card, you can put them in your hand and play them.
Yes.
So, yeah, so there's definitely a lot of, beyond the durations, a lot of neat twist mechanisms like
the embargo.
The embargo.
That's something different because that's another different metal piece that when you trigger that effect, that metal piece goes next to one of the piles, and then when someone picks up that card from there, based on how many embargo, they'll get curses.
Yeah, so it's like a delayed curse effect for buying a specific card.
And they're doing it to themselves.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Right.
Stop slapping yourself. Stop slapping yourself. And you're like, I can't help it.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because the embargo is not considered an attack card because it doesn't attack people directly. It puts a token out, and then it's up to other people to not slap themselves.
Yes.
I mean, if there's a really, really good card, you'd have to, you know, really seriously consider, is it worth getting a curse? Maybe one curse is fine, but if it's got 3 tokens next to it, that's 3 curses every time you buy one of those cards.
Negative 3 points can really, really hurt.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So other than, like he said, the pirate ship that does trashing for a player attack, most of the attacks are going to be discarding cards. So they're not as punishing of player interaction in terms of, most of them up to this point have been curses or something really negative like trashing something. And it's nice to see more variation on player interaction. Doesn't always have to be that negative. Now, granted, attacks, they want it to be more negative than positive, obviously. But there's more to life than just curses.
Yeah, and pirate ships aren't the most punishing because the only thing you can trash is money, and there's always going to be enough money to buy and replace.
Yep.
So that's not that big of an issue.
Yep. Now, in Dominion and the Intrigue videos, we talked about a second edition. For Seaside, as of this recording, they've announced that there will be a second edition. and that there will be cards that will be changed. So they will be selling the
Cute little box.
the cute little box of just the changed new cards. For most people now are going to have this box as of this recording because this is the only edition available. It's the first edition. But they are planning in 2022 to come out with a second edition. So look forward to hopefully being able to get a new set of cards and see what tweaks they did to this game. To, I don't know, maybe add, they haven't really, as far as I've seen, discussed what they've changed. But I'm curious to see if they added more durations or different types of player attacks, interactions. Maybe use the embargo tokens more, because a lot of these cards and mats and the tokens are all tied to just like one card.
Yeah.
The pirate ship has a pirate ship mat, and that mat is only used for the pirate ship. And I understand making it very straightforward and simple of this X uses X and Y uses Y, because that is very easy to keep track of. But at some points, it also feels a little
flat.
Well, just like, yeah, it's like
overproduced.
Yeah, kind of overproduced. But why couldn't you think of more ways to use these things in the game?
Right. I get that. But who would you say Dominion Seaside is for?
So this is for more advanced players who want the more complexity, because the durations do add complexity. You have to remember, you know, what's the first turn, what's the second turn, and make sure they don't stay out too long. So there's complexity there. And also more control, because there is a lot of that discarding and manipulation of your deck that, I mean, that's kind of common throughout all of Dominion, but there's a lot of that in here as well.
Yeah, this expansion feels like, if you're a fan of Dominion specifically, and you're an advanced player, this is your expansion.
Yeah, honestly, when I've talked to people about what their favorite either expansion or mechanism in Dominion is, durations comes up a lot, and Seaside comes up a lot as well, because it introduced durations and then also just has a really solid set of other cards that just wrap it all together very well.
Yeah, because it's not only I'm playing and see how magnificent my turn is, but my turn is so magnificent, it has spilled over into the following turn.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I would probably stay away from this if you're still rather new to Dominion in the hobby, because it still may ask a little bit much.
True. Like I said, remembering the durations, I mean, it took us a while to get a pattern of, okay, if we put the duration out higher up in our play area, that means it stays out to the next turn.
Yeah.
But when the next turn starts, you pull it down towards you, so you know that it needs to be discarded in the current round. I mean, it took us a while to be like, wait, did I play that this turn? Did I play it last turn?
Yeah, and then I still had to have room for this mat or this mat. And so your play area became a lot more complex and a lot more detailed, because this became the duration area, this became the cleanup area, this became the pirate ship mat, that became the island. And then if you had the third one thrown in there, and then still embargo chips are going all over the place. So there's a lot more going on in Seaside.
A lot of good, but it can be overwhelming.
Right. So hopefully that helps. Remember to check out the Board Game Theater, where I perform Dominion Seaside's flavor text, so you don't have to read it. It's like going on an adventure, a voyage.
Cruise.
Yes. And hopefully that is helpful to you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two, that's TWO. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And ahoy, Sarah! We are Rolling with Dominion on the sea.